let's blow your mind for a second. You have 50 trillion cells. And if you wanted to count them, it would take 1,650,000 years counting day and night. It would take over 1,000,000 years just to count your cells. So your body is made out of communities of cells. Cells have jobs just like people have jobs. Cells have to do what you have to do. You know why you need to eat and why you need to breathe is because your cells need the food and the cells need the air. So you're doing that to keep what? Your cells happy. Okay. So now
Okay.
we have a community of cells. The cells are made out of little things even smaller than cells that are so small, even special microscopes have to be, you need something called an electron microscope. It can see something so small, they're called molecules. I say, what are molecules? The molecules that make up your cells are called proteins. And that's why when you have in your diet protein, those proteins, building blocks, become part of you. That's why you eat, and you're replacing and fixing your cells all the time. There are 100,000 proteins. Again, they have different colors and different shapes. And I go, what? The proteins in the cells are like Lego pieces. You could take some of these pieces and make a brain cell. You put them together, you make a skin cell, or you could put some other proteins together and make a muscle cell. The cells come together in communities and they build things. They build a liver, they build an eye. I go, so what's important about it? I say, cells break down. The cells in your body, they break down. I said, you're made out of 50 trillion cells. Every second, 3 million cells in your body die. You have special cells in there that are what are like we call embryo cells, but they have a name called stem cells. They replace all the cells that are dying. So even though you're losing 3 million cells every second, you're making new 3 million cells, and the new ones come from the embryo-like cells called stem cells, okay? So now I say, but the cells are made out of proteins, which are like Lego parts, and the proteins wear out, so we have to replace them. I said, they're very complex. I said, where's the factory that makes the proteins? I go, inside the cells, there's a special part of the cell called the nucleus. The nucleus is a big round thing inside a small cell. I say, what's inside of there? I say, there are special molecules called DNA. DNA, I've heard of DNA, of course, DNA. You know what they are? The instructions to make the proteins. So I say, but the cell can make 100,000 different proteins. Which ones should the cells make? So if you want to make a special cell, then you need the instructions to go into the nucleus where the DNA instructions are and tell the nucleus, DNA, what do we need? I said, what are you making? I'm making a body. I go, yeah, but some bodies are made to fight. Some bodies are made to be peaceful and enjoy life. And I say, each of us has a different body. I said, what do you want to make with your body? I said, what do you mean? Well, do you want to be a fighter? Or do you want to be a happy person and live in the garden and go, I love life? The instruction says what proteins you're going to make, which Lego pieces, and what you're going to build, whether those Lego pieces, whether it's a happy body or a sick body or a fighting body. I go, where's the information come from that controls those proteins? I go, your thoughts. I say, what do you mean? I say, sometimes you're thinking. The job of your brain, which is inside your head, is to take those pictures and make them real. The brain will turn that picture into chemistry. And the chemistry goes into your blood. And the blood feeds all the cells. So the blood is doing two things. It's giving food for life to the cells, nutrition, but it also gives information. What do you mean? I said, well, what kind of cell? What do you want to be? You want to be healthy? You want to be sick? That's a choice. Why? What picture are you holding in your head? I said, that can be a happy picture, or angry, or sad. I say, why?
Scary.
Because whatever picture, and now we'll put the whole thing together. What are you thinking? Thinking happy things, I'm going to go out and I'm going to play today, I'm going to build some stuff, I'm going to have fun? Or are you thinking, oh no, I'm afraid to go outside because it's scary out there, and there's all kinds of things to be afraid of outside, and so I'm staying inside? And I go, wait, what's the picture you want? The one being outside, living in the garden and playing and enjoying life, or the one hiding inside your house being afraid? I said, which one? Because whatever one you're doing is the one the brain is going to say, I see that picture. And the brain takes that picture from your mind and turns it into chemistry. And the chemistry then goes into your blood, which is connecting all your cells. You want to make your 50 trillion cells, the community that's under your skin, happy? Then send them pictures of happy. Because if you send them pictures of something to be afraid of, fear, scary, they're going to be afraid. And they're going to hide. And they're going to close down. Why? Well, I can tell you a simple conclusion, and you just heard it a couple of times. What you think, you become. If you think something positive and strong, I'm smart and I'm brave and I can do all this, I said, good, because then you're sending the signals to the cells to do that.
Wow, this is such amazing information. These kids are really lucky because they're getting to learn this now. But I'm wondering if some of them might be thinking, I'm having like thoughts that feel bad and I don't know how to stop them. Do you have any advice for that?
Yeah, it's interesting because even I had trouble even growing up. Because sometimes during the day, if it was a bad day and my work didn't work out and I get mad at myself, oh, you can't do anything right. And I'm telling myself, oh, you're not that good. Come on, I ruined the whole day and I should have been making better work and blah, blah, blah. And I was yelling at myself. And then I hear a voice. And there wasn't anybody there. It was just me. And you know what the voice said? Don't you have anything better to do than to listen to that story? And I laughed and I said, yeah, I'd rather go to see a movie. Guess what? I stopped thinking the scary stuff and I went to the movie. I had a good time. And when the movie was over, I wasn't scary about anything anymore. I was happy. I let go of it. Anytime I started to think the negative thoughts, not good enough, not smart enough, not lovable, I'd laugh. You know why? Because I would remember, don't I have anything better to do than to listen to that stuff? And the answer always is, yeah, I could go do something I want to do. And I go, that is the simplest answer in the world, but you have to stop long enough to say, I want to do this. When you grow up, you get some programs. It's just like a computer. The human brain is like a computer. In fact, it's the best computer in the whole world that we know of. You can't use a computer if you don't have the program. I said, why did we get a program? You didn't even realize the first 7 years of your life, you were listening to what people were saying. And those words were downloaded and they became programs. Sometimes parents get upset and they get mad, oh, that you don't deserve that. I go, yeah, but if you're under 7, what do you think your mind said? Oh, copy, I do not deserve. Or you did something and then you felt bad and your mommy said, you're not lovable. And I said, what does that mean? I said, what did you just record? Not lovable? I said, what's the picture? What's the picture of not lovable? It's not a happy picture. I said, so guess what? We got programs to get our computer brain working. And these programs are running all the time. Parents didn't mean that for the rest of your life. They only meant at that moment you were being a pain in the bunny. But your brain took that program and said, that's part of the computer. And almost all day long, your life is controlled by the programs that you got. It's really important to look at your life. If it's not working the way you want, you have to change the picture. That picture doesn't look good in my television screen, I'll tell you right now. If that's what picture playing on my television screen, you know what I'm going to do? Change the station. Why? I'll put another show on. I say, what's the show? What do you want? You control the television. I said, you had a choice.
Do you think if enough of us start thinking something different and change that program, we can actually change the world?
Thoughts are like waves coming out of your head. But to make a thought real, the more people that are involved, the more the waves get more magnified, amplified, larger. Everybody's adding their waves and the waves get so big, then the wave creates the reality. And that's why I'm saying you have an opportunity when you grow up to change the thinking, make the waves bigger, and the community of all the smart young people, when they get together and start thinking smart pictures and waves, then the number of them magnifies the power, and then the world responds to that power. You can start thinking very positive, because if you and your friends start thinking positive, then the energy of positive is coming out and manifesting or making it real in the world. We are creating this life. That's how, oh yeah, magical. Like, no, it's physics, and that's the basic science of the universe, quantum physics. And if I just said, what is one of the rules in quantum physics? Your consciousness is creating your reality. What does that mean? It's just what we've been talking about. You want a happy life, then you better start having some good, happy pictures going on there. Because if you do, then you will create them. You are the creator of the pictures, and the pictures create your life.
I want to ask you about another part of the body called telomeres. Can you explain what those are and what they do and how we can work with those?
Okay, we have to go back to the nucleus.
Yes.
And inside, there are structures called chromosomes. You're going to find out when you were created, 23 chromosomes from your mother and 23 chromosomes from your father came together. And that's you. Okay, that's the instruction book. Why? That's the DNA. That's the instructions to make the parts. So that's why you have, sometimes you have more look like your mother, or sometimes you may look more like your father. Why? Because the instructions in those chromosomes created this body. Okay. when a cell has the chromosomes and the cell needs to make more cells, it divides in half. So I said, oh, so now you cut the chromosomes. I go, no, you actually first make a copy of the chromosomes. So you had 46 chromosomes. What does that mean? 23 from your mother, 23 from your father, 46 chromosomes. But just before the cell divides, it doubles the chromosomes, okay? And all of a sudden now you have 92 chromosomes. I go, yeah, but when the cell divides, 46 goes into this one and 46 goes into this one. What's the point? Every time the cell divides, you copy the DNA and a new copy goes into each of the cells, okay?
Okay.
What is DNA? DNA is a long string-like molecule. It's very thin, very long string, but there's a code written on it. And I say, when you want to copy the DNA, let's say that my arm is this string of DNA with a code on it. I say, there's a special protein. Those are like the little, what we talk about, the pieces from the what game, the Lego game, okay?
Yes.
There's a special protein, Lego part, that like a train goes down the tracks. And as it goes down the tracks, it leaves behind a copy. So here's the original plan. Then the protein copy goes down just like a train on the railroad track, go down the track, and behind it, it makes a copy of what it just ran over. That's how the DNA gets doubled. And then one goes to one cell, one goes to the other cell. And that's why always the cells have the same number of chromosomes. Now here is the problem. The protein is the train, like the locomotive, and it's going down the track, and behind it, it's making a protein, a string of protein right behind it, just like that. And it gets to the end. I say, what's the problem? I say, to copy it, it has to move over it. But wait, it's at the end. The next move, the protein falls off, but I didn't copy this piece. Why? Because it was sitting on it. So I said, wait, then the new copy I'm making is not as long as the original copy, because every time I copy it, when the train gets to the end, it can't copy the piece. Now it's a shorter string. And what you're seeing is every time it copies, it gets shorter. These are the instructions to make your body. And the cell has an extra piece of railroad track, meaning the part where the train goes down, the DNA, an extra piece of DNA. The extra railroad track is called telomere. It doesn't have any instructions. If you lose it, so you're not messing with the instructions, but when you run out of the railroad track, the telomere, the next time you copy the DNA, it's going to start cutting in where the instructions are, and now it's not going to work anymore, okay? How many times can you divide the cell before you run out of railroad track? And they said, by the time you're 80 or 90, you've copied the cell so many times that after that, it's not going to work anymore because you're going to cut into the instructions now. So they said, oh, you can only live to be 80 or 90. No. There was a woman by the name of Elizabeth Blackburn. She found there's another Lego part, another protein called an enzyme that makes new railroad tracks. I said, wait, you can make more railroad tracks? I said, yeah. I said, then you don't have to die at 80 or 90 because the cell can divide again and again and again. When does it work? You ready? When you're happy, when you love your life, when you're busy doing something you have to do, when you love yourself, those thoughts activate the enzyme to make the railroad track longer, give you longer, healthier life. You can live over 100 years, okay? But you have to keep the track growing. I say things that stop it from growing are not eating healthy, okay? Not loving yourself or your friends, that will cause you. Not being happy, okay? That stops the enzyme from growing as well. You're in charge of the enzyme. You want to live healthier, longer life and have a better, fun life? Then be happy, be in love, enjoy what you do, look forward to something you want to do, and your mind is going to tell your body, we're not finished. We want to be here. We love this place. I want more life. You have a picture you don't want to be here anymore. The body says, okay, we can go, and you will die younger.
Wow, we're so much more powerful than we realize. Thank you so much, Bruce, for helping us understand this. I'm sure all these kids have questions for you, and I'm really excited that you're going to be joining us to answer some of their questions. So thank you so much for your time.